Yeah, I quite often characterise the NHS as a whole load of really good people doing the best they can in a broken system.
In a broken system.
And when trapped in a broken system. And when I say that to NHS people, they always go, "Oh yeah, you've nailed it. That's what it is. We're all trapped in a broken system. We're all trying to do the best we can, but the system is mad." And you think, well, why does nobody change it?
No, hold on.
Well, whose job is it? It's too big, it's too complex.
Because when you actually push them hard enough and say, right, we need to go and change the system. Oh, no. Well, well...
They might not want the system to be changed.
There's a real challenge here.
Well, it could be that each change that I want, you wouldn't like, and the changes that you want, I wouldn't like.
That's right. Yeah.
But it might be even the changes that I want, I wouldn't actually like if I really had them.
So, and I am firmly of the belief that you can't change the NHS. You have to leave the NHS to do as it does at the moment. And you have to start up a model outside the NHS, which is more inclusive and which is a completely different model.
But this is a project you were talking about, which is you go off and you experiment and try something that might work differently and better.
But not within the NHS, because you can't change that. That's it. That's the beast it is. And all these complicated networks of people within it, and they just do what they do.
Well, they have tried changing the rules occasionally. So they had a sort of client-contractor split, and they had purchasers, and they hived off GPs to be their own little units, and hospitals with their own units. And they've tried structural changes, which in a way is like redesigning where the fulcrum hangs.
But it's not.
But they just haven't managed to...
But it's not, is it? Because they actually haven't changed anything. They like to think they've changed something. But let's take the example of GPs at the moment. Okay, so the money flows from the government to the GPs.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's the customer, the sole customer of the GPs?
Oh, the NHS.
The NHS. That's it.
Not the patients.
Yeah, it's not
the patients aren't actually paying. No. Well, they've paid the government through their tax, and that's come round to the GP.
So the GPs are constantly facing where the resources are coming from.
Yeah.
So they say, well, and the government then sends down, or the NHS Primary Care Trust, or whoever is in charge, sends down a bunch of instructions, and the GPs carry out the instructions, some of which are absolutely impossible, by the way, to carry out, because that's the bureaucratic model of work.
Yeah.
But if actually you want real change, then you give the patient the money to come to the GPs, and the GPs will face the patient.
Because it's not in the GP's interest at the moment.
No, not at all.
To give the patients a better service, for example.
Well, and also the flexibility of service, like coming in on Saturdays or in the evenings or something. There's no benefit to them at all. They get paid in effect.
The hope is they'll do it because they care.
No, but they would care if the money, if they got a benefit.
Yeah.
If there was a contract or a quid pro quo between the patient and the GP, and that's not happening.
No.
The contract.
But I think the hope is that because it's life and death rather than machined parts, the GPs will do the best they can because it's a vocation and they're motivated and ignore the money.
No. But
when they're in front of the patient,
but hold on. There's a whole lot of rules about what they do and how long an appointment is, and etc. etc. It's an industrial way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So
6 minutes per patient, or
whatever
something.
it is, 10 minutes. Yeah, of course. But this is an industrial approach to work. It's like a patient is like the GP's a cog in a machine, and a patient comes along. It's like
it's a production line.
It's a production line.
A production line of meat.
Well, it's a bit harsh to say that, maybe, but because I genuinely think the GPs really care, but actually the system is pulling them away from caring.
Yes, and
they're being forced, in effect, not to care by the system. And I think, wow, we've really, really got to do something.
And you don't think that can be fixed from within? They've got to restart.
It's the bureaucratic model of work.
But it's not an argument for privatisation; it's an argument for reorganisation.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.